The Longhorns are heating up across the board. Texas men's basketball looks to build momentum as conference play intensifies, while women's basketball continues its dominant push towards postseason positioning. On the diamond, Texas baseball is back in action with early season statement opportunities. And on the global stage, Team USA has delivered countless unforgettable moments, finishing up the Winter Olympics with 12 gold medals. All that and more coming up on College Press Box. Good evening and welcome back to College Press Box. I'm Penelipe Fleming, hosting with Tyler Moss tonight. Before we get started, we want to remind you that College Press Box is brought to you by Cap Metro, Austin's transit system. We connect you to work, school, play, and everywhere in between. Plan your ride to this weekend's game at capmetro.org. On Sunday, Texas women's basketball took on the Mississippi State Bulldogs at home, looking to continue their 40-game win streak at Moody Center on senior night. Let's take a look at the highlights. Things started pretty neck and neck, Texas still trying to settle in on offense and turning it over at the arc, resulting in a Bulldog layup. But twos were no match for the Longhorns, who found their footing not long after that rare mishap to start the game. Jordan Lee and Madison Booker coming out the gate hot from the three-point line. Really big night from the top of the key. This was the Longhorns' second game in a row with 10 or more three-pointers in a game. And what a way for Booker to end the half. Clean look at a three and she's got it. The crowd goes wild as the Longhorns go into halftime up by 32. Ashton Judd comes into the lineup and wastes no time getting the steal in the bucket to start the second half. Mississippi State can only counter that with a long two, just for Jordan Lee to immediately rack up another three. Mississippi State comes back with their first made three of the night well into the third quarter. Here they are getting things going offensively, but it is just no match for Texas, who keeps knocking down three-pointers. On top of that, here Booker is with the steal and the layup. Threes were the star of the show in the first half, but don't sleep on the Longhorns' defense. They put that on full display here in the fourth. The Lady Longhorns started to taste that victory and capping off the night, showing off that defensive identity. The final score was a whopping 92-42. Our very own Kate Amon was at Moody Center covering the Lady Longhorns' dominant senior night win. Let's take a look.
In the last 5 minutes of the women's basketball senior game, all five seniors took the court together. Rory Harmon, Sarah Graves, Kyla Oldacre, Ashton Judd, and Taya Sidbury. These five seniors have shown to Coach Schaefer and to the entire fan base what it means to be a Longhorn.
And for me, in my career, I've had a lot of special days in that building, and I don't take them for granted. And today was, pretty cool.
Pretty cool is right, Coach. Senior Ashton Judd with the early steal in the third quarter for the nice layup to start this team off strong after halftime. Freshman Aaliyah Crump wanted a steal as well and gets this wide open layup. Junior Madison Booker, getting her senior night next season, was lead scorer 23 points and gets a great jump shot. Coach Schaefer talked about how he wanted his team to start shooting more threes, and that's exactly what sophomore Jordan Lee did, making 5 threes out of shooting for 8. Though the best play of the game was in the last couple minutes when Coach Schaefer puts all 5 of his seniors on the court. Rory Harmon dribbling down looking for a wide open senior. Sarah Graves is there. She shoots the 3 but misses it, but that's okay because Kyla Oldacre is there to get the rebound, hooks it to Ashton Judd, who passes it back to Rory Harmon. Rory Harmon looking for someone. Taya Sidbury is there for the nice layup. Sarah Graves ends the game with her fellow seniors by saying,
"They're like family. Like I told each and every one of them, they're like families for the rest of my life. Whatever I can do for you to help you, whatever you need in the future, like I'm there for you."
The Longhorns beat Mississippi State 92-42 in an absolute thrilling game to really honor those seniors. This coming Thursday, the Longhorns await the Georgia Bulldogs. They play here at Moody Center, and it's going to be a great game. It's Kate Amon reporting for TSTV Sports.
Thanks, Penelipe. I'm here with Brynlie Dean to talk more about Texas basketball. Welcome, Brynlie. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Tyler. How are you?
I'm doing great as well. The Texas men's basketball team had some big matchups this week. Can you tell us a little bit more about how the Longhorns fared in both of those matchups?
I sure can. First, the Longhorns played the LSU Tigers on Tuesday night at home in a must-win game. The Tigers started out hot against the Longhorns, but by the time the second half came around, the Longhorns had taken over complete control of the ballgame. The Longhorns were led by junior guard Dalen Swain, who had 21 points and 10 rebounds. The final score of this game was 88-85, and this was the Longhorns' 5th consecutive conference win. On Saturday, the Longhorns traveled down to Athens, Georgia to face the Georgia Bulldogs. The Bulldogs came out hot by getting an 18-point lead when there was still about 6 minutes left in the half. Coming out of the half, the Longhorns were able to trim the lead to just 8 points with the score of 60-52. Sophomore center Matis Bakataitis led the Longhorns with 22 points, but unfortunately the Longhorns fell to the Bulldogs with a score of 91-80.
Yeah, those are two tough games for the Longhorns that week, and time will tell if they're going to be able to bounce back against the reigning national champions, the Florida Gators, this week. Shifting to the Lady Longhorns, could you tell us a bit about their games this past week as well?
Of course. On Tuesday, the Texas women's basketball team played against Arkansas and simply dominated. As a team, the Longhorns came up with 20 steals in this game. Madison Booker led the team with 21 points, and Kayla Oldker recorded a double-double with 13 points and 10 rebounds. The Longhorns made 10 threes by the time the fourth quarter came around, which helped them secure the win. The game ended with a score of 93-62. On Sunday, Texas women's basketball celebrated 5 seniors on Senior Day down at the Moody Center. Just as the game on Tuesday, the Longhorns came out once again and dominated against Mississippi State. Madison Booker once again led the team with 23 points, Rory Harmon had 11 assists, and Brea Cunningham helped on the defensive side with 12 rebounds. The Longhorns ended the first half with a score of 50-18. During the third quarter, Jordan Lee made her 5th three of the game. The heat the Longhorns brought continued through the fourth quarter to give the Longhorns the win with a score of 92-42.
Yeah, it sounds like that women's basketball team just absolutely controlled both of the teams they played this week. And, you know, with the March Madness tournament fast approaching, where do you see both the women's and the men's teams going into this?
For the women, I think it could be very possible for them to get the #1 seed in the March Madness tournament. The problem is they are competing against very talented teams like UCLA and South Carolina, but we know they can put up a real fight. As for the men, they too will most likely make the March Madness tournament as a first 4 team. But there's still time for us to see how both of these teams can keep on growing.
Right, women's team pretty clear-cut, one of the best teams in the country, and the men's team just right there, maybe on the right side of the bubble. Thank you for your insight, Brynlie. Now we'll send it back to the desk with Penelipe.
Solid work, Brynlie and Tyler. When College Press Box return, we will take a look into Texas baseball and their dominant start to the season. Stay tuned, you don't want to miss it.
Welcome back to College Press Box. Now, for more analysis on how the Longhorns performed in Game 1 of their weekend series against Michigan State, our very own Dylan Becker and Louis Perez covered the action. Let's check out what they had to say.
Well, it was just about an ideal win here for the Texas Longhorns in this series opener as they grab an 8-1 victory over the Michigan State Spartans here. It was the pitching staff that was really the highlight of this one. Starting pitcher Ruben Riojas went 6 innings, striking out 10 Spartans and allowing just 1 run. And that was where the run total stayed for Michigan State as this relief staff and these fielders did an incredible job limiting that Michigan State offense. For Texas's offense, it was a little bit of a slow start, but they really got those bats going in the middle innings, scoring 2 runs in each of the 4th, 5th, and 6th innings, and it was pretty much a cakewalk from there for the Longhorns the rest of the way. They closed it up an 8-1 win. And now let's take a look at some of those highlight plays from the game.
Nothing like some February baseball at the dish as the Longhorns take on the Michigan State Spartans. Starting pitcher Ruger Riojas had himself a day. This was his first of 10 strikeouts to close out the first inning. Then in the second, it's Casey Borba who's going to leg this one out for an infield single. He's safe at first. And then just the next man up, it's Ashton Larson who sends this one down the first baseline. It's a fair ball, and it's an RBI single and the first run for the Longhorns here in the second inning. Ruger Riojas back on the mound in the third, absolutely shoving another one of those 10 Ks on the day. Then in the bottom of the third, it's a base hit to center field for the transfer man, Carson Tinney, looking to have himself a year to set up this next at-bat. Ethan Mendoza absolutely teeing off to deep right field, and this one's not coming back. It's a 2-run homer for Mendoza and a 3-0 lead for the Longhorns. Then later, the Horns defense flashing the leather and making the throw to first in time. Anthony Pack Jr. here with a base hit. Got himself his first career homer later in this game, but here setting up another 2-run shot. This one from Casey Borba deep to left field. That one's gone, and the Longhorns would cruise to an 8-1 victory against Michigan State.
The Longhorns will look to repeat some of that same magic this Saturday and Sunday against the Spartans. For now, though, they continue a highly solid start to this young baseball season. For TSTV Sports, I'm Dylan Becker.
Great work, Louie and Dylan. Now let's send it to Penelipe, who's with our next analyst.
Thanks, Tyler. I'm here with Kate Amon to talk more about Texas baseball. Welcome to the show, Kate. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Penelope, and I have Texas baseball to thank for that.
Yes, this team has had 2 incredible home series performances to start this season off so strong. Though, Kate, in your opinion, who has had the strongest start to the season?
Everybody on this team has had a fantastic start to the season, with run-rolling UC Davis in the season opener, a win against Lamar, and sweeping Michigan State this past weekend. From the pitching staff to the home run hitters and a stellar infield defense, this team is shaping up to be a good one. But the athlete who has had the strongest start to the season has to be freshman Anthony Pack Jr. As a true freshman, Pack is currently sitting at a .429 hitting average, the highest among the team, with 9 hits in the past 21 at-bats. At his first at-bat as a Longhorn, he hits a single to right field, and during this game, Pack gets the most hits by a true freshman in the season 2013. This past Friday night, Pack hits his first home run over the right field fence. With not having a fence at Pack's high school home field, I bet it felt good to hit a true home run with a packed-out crowd cheering you on.
Wow, Anthony Pack Jr. was an exciting recruit, and it's excellent to finally see him in action. But Kate, I'm surprised you didn't say that the pitchers such as Ruger Riojas and Dylan Volantis had the strongest start to the season.
You're absolutely right, Penelope. Both of these pitchers have outstanding starts to the season, starting off with senior right-handed pitcher Ruger Riojas. After a shaky first inning on opening day, he was able to close out the game with a strong lead, with allowing 3 hits and 1 run. This Friday, Riojas did not disappoint, having the same stats as his previous game, with allowing 3 hits and only giving up 1 run. He was so much stronger this game compared to the last game, pitching 6 innings compared to the 5 before, and striking out 10. Riojas was able to lower his ERA to a whopping 1.36, and his head coach calls him a hippie, but it's hard to not say that this hippie is going to be Texas' starting ace for the rest of the season. But close in competition with him is sophomore left-handed pitcher Dylan Volantis. From transitioning from a closer to a starter this past offseason, he's had 2 incredible outings, with his outing this past Sunday being a 7-inning shutout with only allowing 5 hits and 9 strikeouts. And of those 5 hits, 4 of them were just infield singles. During the alumni game and the press that came out afterwards, we saw how incredible freshman pitchers like Brett Crossland and Sam Cozart are going to be, but seeing these 2 experienced senior and sophomore in action, we are going to be talking about this bullpen quite a lot this coming spring.
I completely agree with you, Kate, that we're going to be talking about this pitching roster in every show from here on out. But this is an exciting weekend for the Longhorns as they head down to Houston to play in the Bruce Bolt College Classic at Daikin Park. Give me the facts about this tournament.
This is an exciting weekend, Penelope, with Ohio State, Baylor, Ole Miss, UTSA, the national runner-up Coastal Carolina, and of course the Longhorns play this weekend at Daikin Park. Texas starts off this classic with playing Coastal Carolina Friday night at 7:05 on the dot. In my opinion, this is going to be the best game of the series, with Texas being ranked number 3 as of February 15th, may I add, winning the SEC championship last season, and the strong pitching roster we just talked about will allow for a great matchup against number 6 Coastal Carolina, who lost to LSU last year in the national championship, but has bounced back with the returner of their starting ace, Cameron Flukie. This is be a battle of the pitchers, and I'm excited to potentially see this ace pitcher battle between Riojas and Flukie. Moving on to Saturday, Texas plays Baylor at the 7:05 time slot again. Baylor baseball had some strong hitters such as Travis Sanders and Pearson Reebok, who will go head-to-head with the strong Texas hitters of Ethan Mendoza and Anthony Pack Jr. Texas then rounds out this classic with playing Ohio State at 2:05 p.m., where this team is struggling to find their footing as the season began losing to Louisiana Tech. This three-day classic is going to be a fun one to watch, and excited to see how the Longhorns perform in it.
That'll do it from here. Thanks for joining again, Kate. Back to you, Tyler.
Thank you, Kate and Penelope. When College Press Box returns, we will recap the Milano Cortina Olympics, which showcased a variety of storylines through numerous athletes and events. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to College Press Box. Our very own Kendell Ungar was on site in Milan for the 2026 Winter Olympics. Let's go to her and Tyler to hear about her experience at the Games.
Thanks again, Penelope. I'm here with Kendell. And Kendell, what are you doing out here? You're normally in the back directing the show. Who's back there right now?
I know, it's been about a year since I was last on College Press Box, so I'm just excited to talk about my experience because I was in Milan last week. I miss it already, but happy to just have a little appearance today.
Yeah, well, since we got you here and you were actually at the Olympics in Milan, can you talk about your experience and what that was like?
Yeah, Tyler, I can't believe it was only a week ago. I was at the figure skating pair final. I know we were talking about that night, seeing it live. And to see some of the venues in person was something I will never forget. Since being back and watching the end of the games on my TV, on the broadcast, it definitely feels like my trip was a fever dream, and it was just a week ago. I will say I was up working Texas women's basketball on Sunday, and the men's hockey final was a must-watch. Both the men's and women's American teams winning gold, the first time in history, is truly an amazing accomplishment. I am interested to see how the Summer Olympics in LA 2028 will go because getting around Milan relied heavily on a subway system, and LA doesn't have that right now. So many locals were telling us good luck in 2028, so I'm excited to see what's to come in 2 years.
Yeah, it's always something in these international competitions. You think about the World Cup coming to the U.S.
yeah.
too. All sorts of stuff that's above my pay grade to deal with. What I do know a little bit about, though, is that the Women's United States team had a particularly great Olympic run. What can you say about them?
This was definitely one for the books for the U.S. women. They earned 6 gold medals, the most ever in history at the Winter Olympics, and they had 17 total in events, which was also a milestone. My favorite story of the Games was watching Alyssa Liu in her singles event performance. She captivated the audience and performed that golden, unforgettable routine. The Winter Games coming every 4 years. It's always a little sad when they come and go so quickly, but I will definitely be thinking of her skate for a while. She also had an amazing story, which is what the Olympics are all about. So retiring at the age of 16 from the sport to coming back on her own terms, dealing with some family things, it was truly an amazing comeback story to watch.
Yeah, Alyssa Liu, fantastic to watch. What a great storyline. You know, maybe if I grow my hair out again like I used to have it, I can copy her brown and, blonde little stripes in there. But that'll be years from now if that happens again. To finish up here, can you talk about the final medal count and the placement from the U.S. team?
I will say I am going to insert a picture of Tyler's hair. It was like down to here. But anyway, Milan is definitely the most successful, it is the most successful Winter Olympic Games for the United States, with the most gold medals earned ever by the athletes, with 11 total. The final medal count was 33 for the Americans, coming in second just to Norway. And they also earned 12 silver medals and finished with 9 bronze medals. So it was definitely an amazing experience. I'll miss Milan, but who knows? Maybe I'll be at LA. You never know.
It's true. You never know where Kendell will be. Right
After
now, we know that she's got to get back to the control room, so we'll let you get back there. And the rest of us, we'll go back to the desk with Penelope.
Thanks, Kendell and Tyler. When we return to College Press Box, we'll take a look at this past week in Longhorn sports and see what's ahead. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back to College Press Box. Let's take a look at this past week in Longhorn sports.
Number 3, Texas softball swept its ranked doubleheader against number 16 Arizona and number 10 Stanford to open the DeMarini Invitational on Friday at Stanford Softball Stadium. In Game 1, Texas took down Arizona 12-2 before defeating Stanford 4-3 to end the day. Tegan Cavan picked up both wins after compiling 14 strikeouts and controlling both teams to just 1 earned run on 6 hits across 11 innings pitched. Offensively, the Longhorns combined for 16 runs on 17 hits, with 6 of those hits going for extra bases.
The Texas Longhorns earned 2 statement wins at the Outrigger Duke Kahanamoku Beach Classic on Friday, defeating the number 9 California Golden Bears and the number 7 Loyola Marymount Lions. The Longhorns showed depth across their lineup, clinching key courts and tight duels to secure both upsets. The victories boosted Texas's national profile and momentum early in the season. The strong showing at the prestigious Hawaiian tournament signals that the Longhorns are serious contenders this year.
Texas rowing seniors Maya Meshkulate, Marg Vanderwall, and Amy Werner were named to the Collegiate Rowing Coaches Association's Athletes to Watch list. This marks the second consecutive year in which Vanderwall and Meshkulate landed on the CRCA's Athletes to Watch list, with Werner making her first appearance. Number 3 ranked Texas opens the season at the San Diego Crew Classic on March 28th and 29th.
Now let's take a look at this week in Longhorn sports. Baseball will host UT Rio Grande Valley tonight at 7:30. Softball will host Southeastern Louisiana and take on the Lions tomorrow at 6. Men's basketball will host Florida tomorrow at 6 as well, and women's basketball will host Georgia Thursday at 9. Baseball will be at the Bruce Bolt College Classic. Softball will play Houston at 6 p.m. on SEC Network Plus Saturday the 28th. Softball will play St. Bonaventure at 2:30 p.m. on SEC Network Plus. Softball will also play Prairie View A&M at 5 p.m. on SEC Network Plus on Sunday, and women's basketball will be at Alabama at 11 a.m. on SEC Network.
And that concludes this week's edition of College Press Box. Thank you for tuning in, and as always, please make sure to tune into our other sports shows this week, including College Crossfire, Wednesdays airing at 9 p.m., and the 1-0 Sports Show on Fridays at 11 a.m. Also, we invite you to follow our coverage on Instagram, X, TikTok, and YouTube at the handle TSTV Sports. Thank you to our analysts, everyone in Master Control, Phil and executive producer Nolan Clay for the one block and Kendall for the other blocks, and all of our reporters in TSTV Sports. I'm Tyler Moss, she's Penelipe Fleming. Thank you for watching, and have a good night.